Today's video is about how to reduce budget on your construction project. First, you have to realize two things. This is just a sequence of decisions that you're making from day one until you go and live in your house. So you have two ways to approach this decision. You need to look at your project and ask the question, is this a budget-oriented project or is this a design-oriented project? This will lead you to the decisions, budget-oriented decisions, design-oriented decisions. The difference is basically that in budget-oriented projects, you're always thinking about the budget, and the budget is the most important thing. On design-oriented projects, it's not that you don't think about the budget, but the budget is not the most important decision-making criteria that you have. You give priority to design over budget. There are 5 ways that you can save money with your construction project, and the first way is when you're actually purchasing your lot. When you're building and you just buy a lot because you buy a lot, you're actually missing a lot of items that you might end up doing or you might not end up doing. So the best thing you do is that you hire somebody to tell you, I have lot option A, B, and C, which one is the best? You need to have a technical, clinical eye that would assess your lot, because otherwise you might be spending money unnecessarily. I'll give you a silly example. Let's say that you have a lot that you like because it has a great view, but then you don't have utilities. You might end up having a well. That could mean $5,000, $6,000, $10,000, $12,000. That if you would knew from the start, you would save that money. Then you would have similar items. Okay, you have a steep lot. Then that means that your dirt movement is going to be a lot. Usually, most clients don't want to put a lot of money into dirt work. They want to put the money into the items that are on the finishes phase. So basically, you're just saving and you're allocating wisely your resources to the finishes or to the phase that you want to actually put the money on. The second way that you can save money is through your architect or the design phase. Usually you have an idea about what you want to have. You want to have a 3-bedroom house, 2 bathrooms, or whatever, right? But he is the guy that would set up that layout. And the most important thing is that you talk to him about, hey, how can we save more money? For example, how much can we save if we do a lightweight structure? How much could we save if we do a different type of roof panel? Another important question to ask your architect is, where can we go cheap? For example, if there are items that are not really visible, that are not a big contribution to the looks of your project or does not affect the structure of your project, you might ask yourself, how can we make these cheaper? For example, if you have a house that is a modern design, meaning that you're actually not looking at a Spanish house where you have clay tiled roof and you don't see the roof, you might end up going with a cheaper roof. Does the same thing. It's good either ways. Does the same thing, and it's just cheaper. The other way that your architect can save you money is when he actually chooses the providers. It may not sound like too much, but there could be a 5–10% difference between one provider and another provider, and depending on the cost of that item, that could mean $500, that could mean $600, that could mean $1,000. It depends on each project, but that's a very important question. I'll give you an example. A few years ago, I asked a plumber, hey, what is the best faucet that you would recommend? He said, buy Chinese on Amazon. And I said, but I've always been told that you should buy the Delta faucets or, high-end faucets because of the internal valves on the Chinese ones that breaks really easily. And he asked, and who tells you that? The guy that sells you the most expensive faucets, because he needs to validate that. So a faucet could be $600 or it could be $80. So that times whatever amount of faucet that you have in the house could mean an important saving. This is because faucets, just as lamps, are items priced based on design. And let's be real, a lot of things are made out of China, and these are just taxes or extra costs that the providers blame on logistics, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, and usually it's made on the same place. The real job an architect has is to allocate resources properly. So we just talked about how to cut and save money. Now let's talk about where to put the money. And realistically speaking, you could say, oh, let's put some tile, let's do some quartz. You could do that, but in my opinion, the real purpose of allocating resources properly is that you have a better real estate than other people. So let's talk about some items that you might think that are not important, but if you put your money there, that will increase the value of your property. If you decide to have items on your scope of work that actually improve your project, such as backup electrical system or backup plumbing system, meaning water storage, filter system, that obviously has an extra value on your property. If you decide to do just a lay sod, but then you think, okay, let's actually landscape this property, you will end up with a property that's actually up, because these are items that increase the value over time. So this is money well spent. Hope you like this video. See you the next time. Bye-bye.